Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. My name is Sarah, also known as LaughLoveLangella, and in today's video we are going to be doing another making home series. This time we are going to be starting my primary bedroom refresh. Now, I just want to show you guys a quick glimpse of the before. We love our bedroom. It's light, bright, airy, but we have not done anything to this space other than painting the walls and replacing the flooring when we did it over last summer. So there is just a whole lot of nothing happening in this space, even when it is beautifully decorated for the seasons. But we're going to be starting off in here, adding a little bit to it, but I'm excited to share with you guys. So currently I've got majority of the window wall all completed, as well as over the closet. I'm going to start working on this side wall because we're actually going to be rotating our bed. Don't mind messy real life. So we're actually going to move the bed from here to this wall instead and see how that flows. But I want to approach the trim on this wall differently because these boxes are all skinny and small, and I feel like that'll look really overwhelming on this. So I'm going to tape off where the bed frame that we're getting is going to be about, width, height, all that. And same for the nightstands, because I don't want the trim landing where a post is, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna tape it off as best I can to map out what we want to do here. So in today's video, I'm not getting into the specifics of a mood board, what direction we're going in, plans, anything like that. I figured that I would have a proper, formal, you could say, video dedicated to explaining that. However, the bed that I ordered was originally expected to deliver in August and has now been delayed until the end of September. So when I said that this is going to be a slower ongoing process that is going to get a little dragged out, I really was not kidding. And I started all of this before I realized the bed got delayed again. So crossing my fingers it comes earlier than that, but I really love taking some painter's tape, mapping out what it is I am looking to achieve or try to better visualize, gain perspective. It really just helps put things in a very physical way that makes it easier for you to understand and make some decisions without having to buy, return, cut things that are too short, and it saves you a lot of headache. Okay, so I did some mapping out off camera because this is just a lot to do at once, and I didn't need this to be 15 minutes of me just like thinking about things. So roughly where the nightstands go is about here. They'll probably be a little bit closer to the trim just because of the spacing. Our new bed is going to be a canopy bed, and it is 7 feet tall. So I did not tape all the way up for what about that's going to be, but because it's a canopy bed and you're going to have that vertical line running for majority of the ceiling height, I didn't want our trim to line up too close to where the bed frame is actually going to be. So that's why I wanted to map it out. I drew some marks on the wall. So in theory, we will have a bigger box here. So I'm just going to tape up just a full piece of trim. I'm not trimming it right now. And for the sake of my sanity, I need to make sure that this is not totally crooked. It really helps visualize what is happening before you commit to trimming something, cutting something, measure twice, cut once. This stuff is super budget friendly, but I've had a lot of trouble finding it at my local Lowe's, which is a little bit annoying, but I digress. So in theory, this is gonna fall. This is the reality of DIY. I got butterfingers. So this will be a box and then we'll have another one running here. So I'm keeping my spacing the same all throughout. I have 4 inches between my boxes from the corner of the wall to the trim between the boxes. So this is about where it would be, and our bed frame actual like end point will be about here. And I feel like that will be a nice sight line to have some of it be outside of it, some of it be inside of it. It gives me the option of adding some artwork above our bed without it having to be too large to just fill the space. So I am actually really happy with this. I'm going to measure, I know for a fact I did not make all 3 boxes the same size. So the 2 on the ends are going to be slightly smaller, and the middle one is about 10 inches bigger. But yeah, let me know down in the comments, would you keep this box this big, or would you move it to be slightly smaller and be like skating very closely to the bed frame? I feel like over here gives it a nicer look, but leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I always appreciate insight, different perspective, because when you get wrapped up in a project, sometimes you get a little bit too much of tunnel vision because you're so focused and it's in your face all the time that you forget to think about some common sense things. So I'm liking the direction this is going, and we're gonna get to it. I just want to say a quick thank you so much for tuning into my channel today. If you have been here even for a minute now, I so appreciate your ongoing support and that you take the time out of your day to hang out with me here and watch my content. It means so very much to me. If you are new here, my name is Sarah. I am a mama of 2 and wife. I love to do all things home decor, styling, shopping, mixing old and new pieces within our home, and I love DIY projects for home decor, but I also really love home improvement DIY projects. So we definitely have a lot going on. We have a lot planned as well, so be sure to subscribe and ding the notification bell so you won't miss out on anything new coming your way. So I unfortunately lost the footage of me talking about this, but here is where I wrapped up for yesterday. As I'm filming this today, I got 2 walls entirely done, and I started the wall that our bed is going to go on. I'm doing this in increments because I don't want to have to move our bed multiple times throughout this. So I'm putting all the trim on, I'm going to prep it, prime it, paint it, and then shift the bed and move on to the next wall. So it's a work in progress, but I'm excited to see that it is starting to take shape. Moving on to the next portion, we are doing some of the little tasks and touch-ups of the built-ins. We had a casualty with our first set of doors where the doors would not close all the way because we put the hinges too far into the face frame. I will get into this more in detail in the reveal video, but I had to add a piece of trim to be a solution to a different issue that we had. So we ended up having to take off the doors. I had to put in some toothpicks glued up to plug the holes, re-sand it, repaint it, and that's what's happening here right now. But this is where we are at with the doors. Just a little sneak peek for you guys. But now we are moving on to the next part of the to-do list. So next on the must-do order of business, this is going to be an ongoing thing, so I'm not going to get this done in one shot. But this is where the stone runs into our built-ins. And as you can see, we have some gappage, especially on the lower ones because we were cutting with the tile saw for the first time, and you know, that's what happens. But we do have some gaps here that I need to fill in with some more grout. I do have matching sanded caulk to just put along the seams, but these gaps are too big for that. I could do some like baccarat or something, but I'm going to take some grout, fill this in a little bit, just to get it to a point where I can caulk without using an excessive amount. So this is the grout that I used for the fireplace. This is from Home Depot. It is not pre-mixed. This is a dry mix. You do have to do it yourself. It comes in the color Snow White. Where is it? Yep, Snow White. I will have this linked in the video description, but it is the perfect creamy warm white. It's not super bright. I did try this one and a different one as well, but I really liked how this one paired with the stone so much better. One of the most difficult portions of doing the grout for my husband and I was the fact that the grout had to be liquid enough to come out of the grout bag, but also thick enough that it would not just splatter all over the floor. And honestly, we really had a tough time with that when it came to the actual grout bag. So when it came time for me filling in these little side portions, I just grabbed an icing bag that I have for like baking and everything. Just my level of DIY can be all sorts of ways, but I found this to be the easiest because I could do the same style of application as a grout bag, but in smaller little doses. And because I had to get into such a small crevice, it just made it that much easier for me. But as you can see here, I'm just adding a little bit of the grout and then using my finger to smooth it out. I'm not looking for total perfection, but I am looking to just have this incorporated naturally with the existing grout and fill in these gigantic holes so that the caulking is a nice seamless edge. So this is already looking so much better now, having grout this. Now, it is not totally clean and perfect. I have the sanded caulk that matches the grout that I'm going to go back in and do that, but at least we don't have that ginormous gap happening between the stone and the actual face frame of the built-in. So you can see like over here, I did not do anything because that gap is small enough for the caulk to fill it, but all these other ones that were really big are taken care of now. Now, when it comes to caulking in general, the real trick of the trade is whenever you're doing baseboards, trim, detail, anything like that, you can take a baby wipe and just literally wipe with the baby wipe to give it a nice smooth surface. You don't need to use your finger to dirty it up or anything. But because this was stone, the stone itself was actually grabbing the baby wipe. And so then there were little like fuzzies ending up on it, and I absolutely was not going to sit there and pick these little pieces out. So I put just a tiny bit of caulk on, used my finger, and only did little tiny sections at a time, wiping off on the baby wipe. So I had a nice clean finger that I was using each time I was touching it, and that worked out really nicely for me. But besides for that, we are touching up the baseboards. I had to do some caulking here. I had to fill in some nail holes from the brad nailer attaching these baseboards. So just a little slight touch-up work needed here, but just giving it that nice clean paint job makes it look so incredibly good. I'm so excited to be done with this project for my sanity. But I am so excited to dive into decorating these built-ins, especially for the fall and winter months. I know it's June. I am so ready and so excited for that. But you guys, I hope that this sneak peek is enough for you to hang on just a little bit longer for the final reveal to make its way. So here is where we are at present day. Everything is looking so incredibly good. Like I said, we're down to the 95%. So what is left is the last of the touch-up paint. I have a little bit of streakiness on the shiplap portion. And then a couple of my doors somehow needed a third coat of paint in some spots. This spot over here is still drying. That's why you can see that. But I just have to do the last of the touch-up paint. I have to edge paint that side again because I did it and it didn't turn out the best. We need to add crown, caulk it, paint it, the whole 9 yards with that. And then add the door hardware and we are all set. We are seriously in the finishing touches of this. And I have to brad nail that one piece of baseboard on the other side, but I don't want to carry down the brad nailer the air compressor a million times, so I'll do that at some point this weekend. But we are almost there. The reveal video will be soon. So that is going to wrap up today's video, friends. I sure hope that you enjoyed me taking you along on some of the little things I've been doing around the house lately to finish out a project and start a new one. So I hope you're excited to see what direction I'm going for with our bedroom. I will be doing a video dedicated sharing the mood board and everything, but stay tuned. This built-in reveal is coming soon. And I need you guys to show up and be excited when it does finally drop. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here today, friends, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.